Live. Go live. Oh, am I live? Am I live? Am I live? MK Mobile Gaming in the Philippines coming at you live from the Philippines. Undisclosed location in the Philippines. Dodging the WW3 draft. What's going on, guys? How's life? MK Mobile Gaming in the Philippines coming at you live. It's a special Saturday morning live for you guys. Shabbat live stream. Don't worry. We're not going to do Bible study because we are in Hebrews chapter 11. It's kind of a long chapter. It's a lot to get into. So I decided, I'm sorry, Jesus, we're skipping Bible study for tonight. So you're welcome. You're welcome, ya heathens. Skipping Bible study for you guys tonight. We're going to get right into some reaction videos. Why the West and simps hate the East, why they hate Asia, what's in my watch history reaction. So we're going to go into the, I think we're going to start off with the Filipino P video. Well, actually, no, before we start off with the Filipino P video, let's start off with talking about, see, Sunshine Shoulders put a post out of it's basically an insurance, I think it's an insurance company. I just looked at their website. They are an insurance company that has basically said, they basically made a list of the most dangerous countries in America. And the Philippines was number 1 on their list. Like the Philippines beat out, Iran, all the countries that are like currently at war. Apparently the Philippines is still the most dangerous country in the world, according to Hello Safe Insurance. Okay, now they have retracted that because they got so much backlash because it's not true, but obviously we know here on MK Mobile Gaming in the Philippines that it's part of the PSYOP, part of the government PSYOP. I mean, obviously this insurance company probably got some kickbacks, got some pay to fudge the numbers and say that why would they do that? Why would some rando insurance company go out of their way? Because you gotta jump a lot. There's a lot of hoops and backflips and cartwheels you gotta do to fudge the numbers so badly that you can justify putting the Philippines as the number 1 most dangerous country on your list. There's no way. There's so many other countries that are like way more dangerous than the Philippines. So we know it's a PSYOP. We know they just don't want, they would rather you go. This is why I say don't go to South America. There's a reason why the American government doesn't care if you go to South America. And they do care if you're coming to Southeast Asia, because they know. They have psychologists, they have trained people who know, human nature. They know it's going to change your life. And they know it's going to change your life for the better. And they don't want you to see that, because then once you see it, you're going to go back and tell your friends about it. You're going to tell your guy friends about it. You're going to say, hey, I went to the Philippines. I met a great woman. She's really nice. She's really submissive. She's really beautiful. She respects me. She loves me. She takes care of me. And they don't want, and this is why they won't open. Think about this. Why will America let South Americans into their country, but they won't let Filipinos in? Just think about that. Like, it really kind of doesn't make sense on the surface, but when you think about the fact that most South American women, pretty feminized, pretty westernized, all right? So they don't care. They know you're getting the same thing. You go to South America, actually, Philippines will be the next most powerful country in the world because of the oil. The oil supply that the Philippines has just found is going to make the Philippines a very wealthy and powerful country. And that's why they're already making moves. Actually, Rachel was just telling me, I don't know if you know about this, Wish. Maybe you know about this, so you can explain it to me more. Rachel was just telling me that the banks are there's a new law passed that the banks can take 20% of your savings, because they're trying, and I don't believe this has anything to do with the Philippines government. I think this has to do with the Western governments basically putting pressure on the Philippines government to make these oppressive laws to keep the Filipino people poor, because they want to keep the Philippines poor. The West wants to. On Filipina, westernized. Did you hear someone commenting? I mean, I heard, I was watching y'all were talking about it a little bit in your last live stream, weren't y'all talking about Filipina getting a little bit westernized? I don't think, well, maybe in like, because I just went to Manila yesterday. Maybe in Manila, maybe in BGC, but I'm still not really seeing I think these guys, they get burned by like bar girls. So then they basically, they want to go out and say that those girls are westernized when they're really not. They're just like, you just got scammed because you're a dumbass. Oh yeah, you should look it up. But Philippines is like rolling in oil now, like a lot. Like they have like a 60-year supply of oil, and that's just one of the reservoirs that they found. They said there's more. So yeah, their oil supply is going to last longer than our lifespans. So we should expect in the near future relationships between. Do you think Nick is toxic? I don't think he's toxic. I think there's something wrong with him though. I really don't try to troll the people on your channel, but it's just, you attract some weird people, Wish. Like, you really attract a couple of oddballs, myself included. But because I'm an oddball too. But the difference between me and like Nick and Brett is that I know that I'm not going to fit in with the crowd because of my belief system. And so it's kind of like those guys, they're weird and they don't know it. And they don't know why they're weird. They actually think they're normal. Like, at least I know I have my religious beliefs that most of the rest of the world is not going to agree with. And that's going to set me apart from the crowd. And I'm okay with that. I prefer that. I do not want to be a part of the group. I don't want to be a sheep. I don't want to follow blindly. I don't want to agree with everyone else's bullshit just because I want to fit in with the cool kids. Yeah, Brett does kind of talk too much, like a lot. Like, it was kind of funny at first. It's not funny anymore. That's one of those jokes that's not funny anymore. All right, so welcome to the show, guys. We're not doing Bible study today. You're welcome. We're going to get right into the reaction video. So first, I want to show you guys what Sunshine Shoulders posted from the website that's basically saying, that's lying and saying that the Philippines is the most dangerous country in the world. So because I know how these Westerners are, these foreigners. You got to show me the proof. Show me the facts. You're just talking. Okay, well, here you go, guys. I'm going to give you guys a break today. I'm actually going to show you guys the proof. I actually prepared for this live stream. Hey, how does my mic sound? Because I got a new mic. Check out this cool mic. I'm going to do some more videos now. And I'm going to do some mukbang. And I'm going to be like chewing. I'm going to go get some chips. Okay, that was gross. And a little bit gay. See, I can make fun of myself. I don't look. You know what I was thinking about this morning when I was in Blizz's live stream? I wasn't really trolling. Like, I just say things, and these guys get like so triggered, and I'm like, you remember, like, I don't know if you have these saying in the Philippines. In America, we have this saying when we're little kids. It's called "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." I'm like, how are you guys getting hurt by me? Or triggered by me just saying stuff? Even if I am trolling, like, I don't know. You can tell. And you know what? I like Blizz. Blizz is better than that. Blizz just has like these losers on his channel too. He's attracting a bunch of weirdos on his channel too. Bruce is same as Brett? Bruce? Nah. The guy that lives in the Philippines, Bruce? Nobody can be the same as Brett. Nobody. Brett is a very original, unique, on the spectrum kind of guy. I actually don't have anything against Brett either. I think he is somewhat mentally challenged, I think, honestly. I shouldn't even be making fun of Brett because he does seem somewhat mentally challenged. Like he might actually be a little bit, oh crap. Sorry guys, that's the alert from the storm in the Philippines. How stormy is it over there where you're at, Wish? Because it's literally been raining all day over here. They keep sending alerts like, oh no. All right, let me show you guys this. I already lost one viewer from rambling too much. MK versus Brett, Billy Jack. Nick is just, I don't even know what to say about Nick yet. I mean, I don't, like, Nick is just a regular westernized guy who he just doesn't know. Like, he's just, I don't know. He just doesn't have enough. I don't know why he's defending the West so much, so viciously. Like, he's upset when we say good things about the like, what's wrong with saying good things about the Philippines? He's like, oh no, if you say something bad in the Philippines, the government's going to come arrest you. Like, well, I've been here 2 years and I don't really have anything bad to say. And even if that were true, it's also true about America. Like, the Philippines isn't doing anything worse than America's doing. Yeah, I think he just got screwed over by some bar girls or something. Somebody hurt him. And it's like, there's nothing the Philippines can do that's going to make America look good. Like, America already has kind of tarnished its own image globally. So it's like, there's nothing you can say to like make, like, what are you going to do? You're going to convince me to like, oh, okay, I'm just going to pack my shit up and go back to America. I'm convinced, Nick. All because you said, obviously no government in the world wants you talking bad about them. Like, there's nothing. And I don't really think that the Philippines government is anywhere near, even if they are like a little bit corrupt, even if they are a little bit bad, it's nowhere near the Western government and their corruption. When he has nobody. Oh yeah, he was talking about that too. Like, you have no friends unless you like living in a room while he's sitting in his room in your live stream for like 2.5 hours. It was like, you just described yourself. And I mean, you know what? He is right. I'm a little bit of an introvert, and I like, as a man, men don't need friends, honestly. Like, men need like one friend and then we're good. Like, what is he like? How many friends does he need? Yeah, corruption is everywhere. And no other country is, I don't think, as bad. The Philippines isn't anywhere near as bad as the West is. So to point that finger at the Philippines and use that argument is just completely ridiculous when you live in America. Everyone knows one of the most corrupt countries in the world, if not the most. So, all right, let me show you guys, because I keep saying I'm going to put this up here. Oops. Show you guys the facts, because people want to see the facts. So we're going to go to Sunshine Shoulder's channel. I like Sunshine Shoulder, but he's hit or miss. Sometimes he says some crazy stuff. I'm just going to his post section. All right, there you go. You guys can see that right there. Let me see. Can you guys see that? So there you go. There's the official report from the website that's called Hello Safe, which is an insurance company. I just looked it up. All they are is an insurance company. So I don't even know why they went out of their way to, unless there's some sort of travel insurance company. I don't know. But here they go. Number one, top 10 most dangerous nations. Philippines, number one. Philippines beat out Colombia, Mexico, Yemen, Indonesia's number 7. So these numbers, these are just countries. Obviously, you can see this is a government psyop. These are obviously countries they just don't want you going to. They don't want you going to Russia, obviously. They don't want you, and I don't believe Russia is like dangerous. It's dangerous to the United States, but it's not dangerous to the individual. Let's see, Yemen's probably dangerous. But once again, like I said, these are countries that America doesn't like. So I don't even know why Mexico's on here, because I know America loves Mexico and Colombia, because they love that's where they get their crack from. So I can understand why Indonesia's on here, because Indonesia is another like kind of an underrated destination, kind of like the Philippines, because I considered Indonesia too when I was doing my research on traveling to Southeast Asia. Indonesia was definitely on my list. It just wasn't very high on my list. It was like, you know, it's like in the top 10. It wasn't in the top 5. So yeah, obviously, I mean, you know, it's a psyop because it's every country that America has problems with. Like any country America has problems with, like the government, they say the citizens aren't allowed to go there because it's too dangerous for you. Like, no, just because you started a fight, it's not my fight, okay? So here's the official thing, and let me show you guys their website here. So they have retracted their statement because the Philippines government, I think, got mad at them for posting that. Am I sharing this? There we go. So here's the official website. His channel seems toxic. Yeah, I think he's going through some kind of I think he might actually be having like a midlife crisis. He seems like he's been very emotional lately. I think he's going through something. Because men do have, I mean, women have menopause, men have midlife crises. So it started when he went back. He just recently went back to America. And it started, I noticed he started acting emotionally different when he came back from his trip to America. So I think something happened over there that affected him. I think it was his kids. I think his kids started to guilt trip him about basically living in the Philippines and maybe not spending enough time with them. And so I think that kind of got to him. But his kids are adults. They're grown adults. So they don't need their fathers. And I know how the system works in America. Even if he had wanted to spend time with his kids, the government would not have allowed him to. So, and the kids just don't understand that yet because they're not old enough to go through the system. All right, so here's the official website to this insurance company. Let me just read here. Based on numerous reliable indicators, HelloSafe publishes a travel safety index in 2025. This index scored out of 100, assigns 100 to the least safe countries and 0 to the most. Okay, so here we go. This insurance company says that the Philippines is the most dangerous country in the world. Like I literally just went to the store and it's like, what time is it? Almost 9 o'clock? No, it's 8 o'clock. So it's dark outside, it's raining outside. And I literally just went to 7-Eleven by myself, got some drinks, came back home, got a Red Bull and some milk for my coffee. Like it's perfectly safe. No problems. No one tried to rob me or grape me or molest me or steal my unvaccinated baby seeds. All right, so here is where they actually retracted it. This is from the Manila Standard. HelloSafe retracts Philippine safety report amid outcry and DOT demands. So the Department of Tourism, DOT is Department of Tourism, reiterated its call for transparency. Okay, I'm not even gonna, well, maybe I'll click on it. I didn't want to read the whole thing, but let's see. Let's read a little bit. Because this is from the Manila News. Yes, sweetie? Yes? Did you need something? I'm sorry, my beautiful, strong, and independent Filipina just walked in because I worship Filipinas, not fat Western women. Oops. All right, am I sharing this screen? Okay, hold on. I'm not sharing this screen now. The Manila News here, guys. Well, I don't know you, Feed Me More X. What would you like to talk about? All right, the Department of Tourism reiterated its call for transparency and accountability after HelloSafe took down a travel safety report that inaccurately listed the Philippines among the least safe countries for travelers. Department of Travel Security, Cristina Garcia Francisco, in a letter addressed the HelloSafe founder Antonio Fauchard, Salt Red Rest for what she described as a false and misleading article. Yeah, extremely false and misleading. She said the dissemination of such information under the guise of a safety index caused unwarranted alarm and inflicted damage on the country's reputation. Yeah, that's what they want to do. That's what the PSYOP is for. All right. So this insurance company does not care that the Philippines is mad at them. They probably were checked because the damage is done. That was the goal from the government from the start. They already put it out there. It's already on the internet. Feed is going. I don't know who Feed is. Do you know Feed? I mean, he has a Guy Fawkes mask. I'm a little bit concerned. I don't know because these people with Guy Fawkes mask, you don't know if they're like communist or that one can go either way. The Guy Fawkes mask can go out either way. Feed, are you going to open the can? All right. So basically, the government doesn't care. They've already done the damage. They've posted it. It doesn't matter if they retract it. You know why? Because when I go here, right, the first thing that comes up in the search, if you search this, the first thing that comes up is the Philippines is the most dangerous country in the world. No one, very few people are going to scroll down, and start reading here where the Manila. And also, if you don't live in the Philippines, this isn't even going to show up in your search, by the way. Because when I was in America, Filipino news never showed up in my Google search. All right. So Americans are the only ones who are looking at this. And this Filipino news is not going to show up in their Google search because they don't live in the Philippines. Right? Their IP address is not in the Philippines. So this isn't going to be in their search. So they'll never see this part where it says that HelloSafe actually retracted their false statement about the Philippines. And the government knows that. Oh, your browser has lost it? Oh, am I still live? Can you guys still hear me? Yes, I will. What would you like to talk about? I think he's a troll, Wish. Give it a try. I think he's a troll. Okay, everybody left. So there you have it, guys. Like I said, the Manila Times is not going to show up in a Western Google search if they actually search this to see it's a Western. Is it a woman? He wants to talk about Western women, fat single mothers. It's not really much to talk about. They're still fat. They're still single mothers, and nobody wants them. So this is what the government knows. The government knows once you do a Google search, all you're going to see is this come up first. It's going to say Philippines is the most dangerous country in the world. And because you don't live in the Philippines, you're just thinking about traveling to the Philippines because your IP address is not in the Philippines. Filipino news will never show up in your Google search. So the Westerners, the Americans, are never going to see the part where HelloSafe actually retracted their false statements about the Philippines. So the damage is done. The PSYOP has been successful, and that's that. All right, so we did that. HelloSafe. Let's go to. So I wanted to talk about that first to lay the foundation of lately the past few months. I don't know, maybe the past 6 months. There's been a huge, I'm noticing a huge like algorithm push of like anyone who posts anything negative about, and even Filipino channels. That's why we're going to go to a Filipino P or Filipino P. Even a lot of Filipino channels are now, I think they're catching on that if you post something negative about the Philippines, that the algorithm will push your video and you'll get views and clicks and things like that. So I'm noticing that even Filipino channels are starting to say negative things about the Philippines. And I think they are just doing it for the algorithm. They don't really, because obviously it's their country. I don't think they really believe the negative stuff. They know it's not true. But they're also saying negative things in regards to expats and things like that. So a lot of Filipinos are now making videos saying, oh, expats, you're going to have this problem, you're going to have that problem, because they're seeing the other videos get views. So they're saying, hey, well, they're thinking, well, if I make a video that says something negative about being an expat in the Philippines, then my video will get pushed and get views too. So I've been noticing that the past few months, so many videos coming out just talking badly about the Philippines. And there's really, like, I've been here 2 years. I mean, like, I try to be like kind of reasonable. I know some guys have complaints, like, yeah, things take a little bit longer. You could lose your patience here a little bit. But for me personally, 2 years, my biggest problem is trying to find a good place to get a haircut. And that's about it. I haven't even really lost my patience here that much. I mean, I think I have a few times, but not enough to be like, make a video about it. You know what I mean? Like, these guys, these grumpy old men in the Philippines living in the province, they lose their patience. They go make a YouTube video because they had to wait in line. Like, all right, whatever, brah. Whatever, brah. It's not that serious. If you're retired, why do you even care about waiting in line? So let's go to this video. Like I said, it's weird. It's videos like this. This is from Filipina P. Everyone knows Filipina P. Look at this, 420,000 subscribers. Her last video was 3 years in prison for abusing with a Filipina. Oh no, arguing with the Filipina. I haven't even watched the video because honestly, I don't even care because I know it's stupid. I know it's stupid clickbait, fear mongering, and I don't know. I don't think Filipina P is a psyop, but she has been to America. You see these videos here where she's been to America. And I know how difficult it is for Filipinas to get visas to go to America. So the fact that she got one, like, I wouldn't be surprised if she has been, talking to the American government and working as an undercover psyop. It's not going to surprise me. I don't think she is, but she does have a lot of influence. And I'm pretty sure the American government has taken notice to that. And I think probably someone pulled some strings to get her a visa pretty easily as compared to the average Filipino. You see what I mean, Wish? It is a troll. I told you it was a troll, Wish. But he's a funny troll. I mean, that's funny. I'll use that. I'll use that next time I'm trolling. That's what I'm going to tell Brett. Or that's what I'm going to tell Nick. Nick, do you give foot jobs to your husband? Nick's going to get all mad. All right, so let's get into 3 years in prison. This is fear mongering for arguing with a Filipina. Let's see what she has to say about this. It could just be clickbait. It could just be clickbait. He's probably like, I think I saw a video too where it was like a fat old drunken boomer, because a lot of these boomers are drunkards. And alcohol, usually if they're drunkards, they could be abusive as well. So it could be like he was drunk and abusive. So she might just be clickbaiting it as arguing. But I'm inclined to believe that if this did happen, there was physical abuse. It wasn't just arguing. Which the same thing would happen in America. If you beat a woman in America, obviously you're going to go to jail. So I don't understand why this would even be like clickbait or fear mongering. Like, this is the kind of thing these guys will say, like, oh, don't go to the Philippines because if you beat a Filipino, you're going to go to jail. I'm like, you'll go to jail for beating an American woman. What the hell are you talking about? What's your point? Like, they're trying to like scare you from going to the Philippines. I don't want to beat women. I like Filipino women. American women, if they get beat, I don't care. I'll just watch them. I'll just pop some corn and watch an American woman get beat. Simps are messing up the Philippines. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I'm not mad at the Simps here in the Philippines because they are winning. Like, like, my goal is every man. Even if you're a simp, like if you're a simp who's kind of like awoken to your simpness, right? Like, there's hope for you, And if you're gonna simp, like I always say, if you're gonna simp, just simp for a Filipina. Don't simp for a Western. Like, some simps are just not gonna stop simping no matter what. They just can't help it. They love being simps. Simping is crack to them. So if that's the case, then at least simp for a Filipina. At least come to another country that's going to have like a little bit more respect for you, and invest your time and your money and your energy in that country. But yeah, simps are kind of, I mean, they're not ruining it completely. Yeah, I know, right? I'm not staying in America dealing with all these man haters. Yeah, even like the men are hating on other men now in America. I'm like, what the heck? I've been gone for 2 years and it feels like it's getting worse. And I'm not even there. Thank Filipina P for the news. All right, let's see what she has to say, because I'm thinking this is just going to be clickbait. Simple Simons. Yeah, Simple Simons. Wait, maybe expat living doesn't know. Simp is the volume is off. Ah, I knew something was wrong with the stream. Let me try it again. Can't hear her. Okay. Can you hear it now? Can you hear it now? Dang. StreamYards is killing me. Come on, StreamYards. Get it together. All right. Let me let's see. Let me redo it here. Redo the whole screen share. One more time, StreamYards. You're ruining my whole live stream. Oh, this is what the problem is here.
Action. And boy, was I ever surprised by what he said. So, can you actually go to jail for arguing with a Filipina?
Audio check. Audio check.
Hello, Attorney Dave. Welcome back. How have you been?
Cool. Hi, P. I'm all good so far. So good.
So anyway, Attorney, I've got a lot of questions about this video that was posted on another YouTube channel where they said that, you know, a foreigner
Thanks, guys.
was actually thrown in jail for 3 years. Here's a short summary of the situation according to his friend. I'm going to, play the clip.
This video, I want to talk about a friend of mine that I met here, and he's now in prison in the Philippines. He's serving time here. The guy I'm talking about, he's an American.
Oh, it's this guy. This guy's I think this guy's a little bit of a fearmonger.
American guy, really good nature.
I'm just gonna say I think there was probably some physical abuse involved. This wasn't just arguing with the Filipina. He's probably an old drunk, abusive old drunk, and that's why he's in jail. I don't think that the local police or the barangay would care if you argue with your Filipina. Like, they just don't care. I think there would have to have been some physical abuse for them to take this kind of action. Go where you are appreciated. Yes, that's what I always say. Expat Adam, living overseas that's exactly what I say. I mean, maybe not in such simple terms. Yeah, like, why do you live there? Exactly. There's so many. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about today, is all these videos coming out about people saying all this negative stuff about the Philippines, and a lot of them live here. And it's even Filipino people. Some Filipino channels are starting to say bad stuff about the Philippines. I'm like, you're Filipino. What the heck? I make schedule Adam live for tomorrow. Oh, okay. I got to work tomorrow, so I don't know. I'm not going to be available. I'm not going to be available to troll. I'm going to try and stop trolling for real, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. Tell Blizz I apologize. I wasn't expecting Blizz to get so like emotionally affected. Jeez. Yeah. Blizz got a tough. I like Blizz, but he's got to get some thicker skin, dude. You can't be like getting your feelings hurt too easily, bro. Like, come on. I know the guys on his show are some little girly men, but Blizz, I expect better from Blizz. Like, I know Blizz, he has a lot more potential. I think he's been hanging around with them little girly men too much on his show.
Man, very kind man. He was with this woman,
Blizz is broken
and they've
heart.
been together for a long time. He was telling me a little bit about her, that she was like, you know, one day she'd be good, and then she'd turn on him and become nasty and, you know, quite aggressive. Because of the argumentation that was going on and the aggressiveness from her. And I did see it.
Oh, does he really? Oh, now I feel bad. Now you guys are making me feel bad for trolling Blizz, because I actually like my discernment, I'm gonna get religious again. My discernment for Blizz is like God tells me that Blizz is a good person. Like Cisco and them other guys, you know, God tells me those guys are losers. But Blizz is a man that God really wants to, you know, work with and work on. Now, I just trolled Blizz a little bit. He got a little bit, his feelings hurt. It was my bad. It was my bad.
He said to me, Steve, he says, you know, like, I can't stand this no more. He says, I'm going to have to leave. He moved about 10 kilometers away, and they were separated for about a year then. Then what happened? She made an allegation to the police. She made an allegation of indecent assault. And it was a Saturday morning. I'll never forget it. It was a Saturday morning. He sent me a message. He said, I don't think I'll be coming today. You know, like, I said, I've been like arrested. What? You've been arrested for what?
I've been
He
arrested.
said, I don't know the charge yet. He said, you know, like, I wait till they process me and wait till they find out what, you know, what I've been charged with. Anyway, he was charged with indecent assault with his ex-girlfriend.
Indecent assault. So he's charged with assault, right? This is not arguing, right? She clickbaited the video as arguing. Okay, so he's saying that a year later they had been separated, and a year later she accused him of assault. This sounds like a scam. It sounds like she could have been trying to scam him and basically extort money out of him. Maybe she was saying, hey, if you don't give me this money, I'm going to call the police and say you hit me. Or maybe he actually did hit her a year ago. Yeah, Blizz is a good dude. I know he doesn't like me anymore, but I still think he's a good dude. I just think the people on his channel are, you know, kind of simps. And the problem I have with Blizz is I don't think Blizz is really, I think he's trying to like keep everyone happy, right? And that's the problem. Like you have to put your foot down on your beliefs. And when you have someone on your channel who doesn't, you know, agree with your beliefs, like he has that mentality of like, oh, we'll just all just get along. And, you know, I'm like, no. Men stand firm in their beliefs. And when you got a dumbass and you got a simp ass dude on there, you know, you tell them, you're a dumbass, you're a simp. Don't be afraid. Don't be trying to keep everybody happy. That's how come the world is where it is now. It's because everyone's afraid of offending other people. Like truth is offensive. If you can't, you're going to have a hard time living the truth. And this is why people like Cisco and Simps don't believe in God, because they can't, because it's too much truth. They can't live their lives like simp asses and believe in the truth of God. They just can't do it. So most simps don't believe in God. And if you notice, most red pill guys are actually very religious. Like there's a connection there. All right, let's keep watching. This is starting to sound like extortion, like a scam.
In jail now. And this case has been going on for 3 years. Now, his ex-girlfriend said to the judge that she wanted 4 million pesos to drop the charges.
There you go.
I don't even know you can do that.
Scam,
I didn't even know if you've been charged with something, if you can demand money. But he wouldn't do it because he said, if I pay that, then it looks like I'm guilty. So this case has been going on for 3 years, guys. And I'm just saying this story,
Simps
how easy it is to make an allegation.
Sweetie, can you close the door all the way?
When it's indecent assault in the Philippines, you don't
This isn't I mean, it is an allegation, but this is a scam. All right. So this is different than the way a Western woman would do it. Well, no, it's pretty much the same.
get bail. You can't get out until your case is done, guilty or not guilty. And he's lost so much weight. He looks ill, but I don't know when he's coming out. This case has been going on for so long. He was having hearings all the time. He just keep getting adjourned. And update on my friend. The judge has found him guilty, but not guilty of assault because there was no evidence towards it. But wait for this. They found him guilty on verbal violence. You know what verbal violence is? It's an argument.
They're just trying to get him to pay. So this is a scam. I think he got scammed. I think the judge was trying to get him to pay too.
The judge is making a decision on what is going to be his sentence, but he's already served 3 years in prison. I don't know what the sentences is for having an argument, people. Having an argument with your Filipino girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. But apparently here, it's an offence. It can be an offence, and your Filipino can bring charges against you. At best, what's going to happen? Well, at best, he will be deported. This is what his attorney said to him, because now he's classed as undesirable because he's actually being found guilty of.
It was probably an undesirable to begin with. I don't think, like, if you're a nice guy, you're not going to get scammed like this. This is the cops probably knew this guy was a douchebag to begin with. No one probably liked him. Like, if you're nice to people in the Philippines, Filipino people are not going to, like, I don't think the police or anybody would have gone through all this trouble. If this was a good guy, if this was really a good guy, somebody would have vouched for him. Somebody, like another Filipino would have came and said, hey, you know what? This is a good guy. You know, he let me borrow money, or he gave me some money to start my business or something like if you did something beneficial for the community that you live in, Filipino people will take notice. Like, they're not going to just be like, oh yeah. But if you're also it goes the other way. Like, if you're a douchebag, Filipino people will kind of mark you as a douchebag. Like, if you're just a fat drunkard sleeping around with 18-year-old Filipinas, barely legal girls, they're going to look at you like you're a douchebag. They're going to treat you like a douchebag. And if you get scammed, no one's going to help you because you're a douchebag and you deserve it. So it sounds like this is just an old boomer doucher, probably drinking. And this is why no one had any respect for him. This is why no one came to his aid. This is why no one came to defend him. The police didn't give a shit. The judge didn't give a shit. All they saw was a fat drunkard, and they said, let's get this guy's money because he's a douchebag anyways. Yeah, the judge is trying to get him to pay too. But if he was, like I'm saying, if he was a reasonable, nice human being, I know from experience, I've talked to security. Everyone's treated me nice here. All the security guards have been very, very nice to me and helpful. But when you live somewhere in the Philippines, you know, people kind of, and you're the foreigner there, they're kind of going to start to get to know you. And they're going to know if you're a nice person or you're a douche. And if they see you with different girls every day, they're going to think you're a douche. All right. Because those are somebody's daughters. Those are some Filipinos, mom and dad daughters. You know, but if they see you with the same girl, like I had this when I first came here, and I was just staying in the hotel. So the hotel has like a door security guy. Yeah, sounds like he chose. Yeah, and these guys, this is what happens when they want to go after these 19-year-old girls. I don't know. I mean, there are some female nature is everywhere, right? You're not going to escape female nature just because you come to the Philippines. It's here too. It's just not allowed. Like, women aren't allowed to behave like Western women because they don't have a government to support them here. All right. But if they did, then yeah, Filipino women would probably be just as bad as Western women if the government gave them free money. Because female nature is female nature. It's just what men allow and what governments allow. And the Filipino government doesn't allow their women to get out of line by, you know, providing for all their needs. So they still are very much dependent on men. And the culture still loves men. Like the men, even the moms will tell the daughters, you know, take care of your man, love your husband, make some food for your husband. and things like that. So the culture still teaches women that men are, you know, a necessity. Like you need to have a man. You're not going to survive without one, and if you do, you're not going to have a very difficult life, and you're going to struggle without a man. But yeah, definitely chose the wrong one. The red flags were there. He's just an old horn dog. You know, she love bombed him with a bunch of sex. And then, you know, they started fighting. I don't understand. I've been hearing this too, like, especially with like these, you know, YouTube breakups now. These like foreigners and Filipino girls, these famous ones that break up. I'm like, you were arguing? You know how, like, is Adam still here? You know how Adam says he never argues with his wife? Like, I don't argue with Rachel. We never argue. Like, if you're arguing with the Filipina, something is already wrong straight off the bat. Because Filipinos don't really argue with you. Like, that should be a red flag right there. All right, so I don't know. This sounds like he just got scammed. The guy just got scammed. This was a scam.
Having an argument.
So anyway, attorney, what do you think? Can a woman really file a case against a man just for having a verbal argument, you know, with no physical evidence? Because in the video, according to the friend, he wasn't found guilty of assault, but verbal abuse. Verbal abuse is like arguing. So does that mean if my boyfriend yelled at me? It's like...
This is interesting because it would seem like it would have been easier to find him guilty of abuse than verbal assault. Like, why did they go with the verbal assault as opposed to the physical abuse? I wonder why the judge did that.
You're verbally abusing me.
You know, of course, we need to qualify the verbal arguments. You know, not all arguments are abuse, of course. We can argue, we can hurt each other's feelings, but, you know, that's normal in relationships, right? And even
I still don't think we have the whole story, because the fact that the police and the judge, even if they wanted to scam this guy, would go through all this trouble, they would have had to have some sort of evidence. Like, how did they prove this is what I think happened. I think there was an altercation. They probably had a police record on this guy already, because for them to go through all this trouble to even like have a case and arrest this guy, they had to have something before this on this guy. There's got to be something else to this story that we don't know about, and probably even they don't know about, because the police and the judge are not going to release the details of the story, because that's none of our business. But I guarantee there's something else going on here. This guy had a record. They probably had the police called on him already. They, you know, for whatever argument he was having with her. I don't know. And if you're having an argument, woman beater. I don't know if, I mean, yeah, he probably was smacking her around a little bit.
friends, family members argue it every day.
And like I said, Filipinos are not gonna like just let you smack around their daughters. That's somebody's daughter. Like, respect Filipino women. I don't respect Western women, but I do respect Filipino women because they deserve it. If I see a Western woman getting beat up by her boyfriend, she put herself in that position, right? I'm not gonna go save her from Tyrone.
But that doesn't mean there is abuse there. Under the anti-violence against women, or what we call the VAUC law in the Philippines, verbal and emotional abuse is a crime.
Oh,
But
wow.
it usually applies in the context of, you know, domestic or intimate relationships with a partner. And there are, of course, qualifications as to when an argument or, you know, words can fall under verbal abuse.
Oh, I forgot. I didn't finish my story. So I was talking about when I first got here and I was staying in the hotel. So I stayed in the hotel for like 3 weeks, and we had this, you know, all the hotels have like a security guard at the front. So the security guard's name was Tony. So, you know, I'm walking in and out every day, and I'm like, hey, what's up, Tony? And I'll see you later, Tony. You know, I'm just like talking to Tony. Seems like a cool dude, right? And Tony sees me with Rachel, right? Like from day one, Tony sees me with Rachel because she's like, she basically got the hotel for me and everything. And So Tony's there every day. He's seeing me with Rachel every day. And so Tony's like, hey, yeah, you're a good guy because, I see you here every day and you're with the same girl and you're not one of those guys that's bringing in different girls every night. So like people are watching and people are kind of like Filipino people are watching you. And well, he's a security guard. That's his job, but they're going to judge you. They're going to say, hey, look, that guy has a different girl every night. So that guy's probably a douchebag. But that guy, he's new to the Philippines. He's been staying in the hotel, but he has the same girl every night. So that guy, probably not a douchebag.
What does it take for an argument to become verbal violence? What if my boyfriend called me fat? You're annoying. Is that verbal abuse? Like, "Ah, my feelings are hurt. How could you? I'm gonna go to the police and file a blotter."
The answer would be yes and no. Partially, you're surprised, right? But we qualify. I like to qualify that one. Like repeated. That needs to be repeated. Repeated insults, belittling, humiliation. There has to be an intent of your boyfriend belittling you, or the boyfriend telling you that you're fat, you're ugly, etc. There's maybe an argument. It's verbal abuse if there's a threatening harm.
I don't even think Filipino women know about this law. I think maybe this one random woman found out about this law and decided, hey, this is something I can exploit. And then, she was with that guy and he just like, in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong woman at the wrong time. When she got the info, she was like, hey, this looks like a good scam, right?
Constant criticism that causes emotional suffering. A single argument may not usually qualify for a verbal abuse unless, of course, the argument is part of a pattern or involves serious threats of harm.
You see that? He's saying there has to have been something there was like an existing situation that had been going on for a while for the police to even care about this, or for the judge to even care about this, to take this all the way to trial and then ultimately put him in jail. There's something more here. There's a paper trail.
And that woman should be a person with whom you have sexual relationships with, and not just any other person.
All right. Let's see.
Okay. So if a foreigner is arguing with a woman who is a vendor because she overcharged him, that can't be verbal abuse.
Unless, of course, the foreigner has sexual relations with the vendor. But if the foreigner does not have any sexual relations with the vendor, that is not the verbal abuse under the context
there
of
we
the
go.
violence against women
We
or
got some
children.
more clarification there because she tried to clickbait it with, you can go to jail for arguing with a woman, like any woman.
So you have to sleep with the person for them to use.
Wait, how are they going to prove that I slept with them?
Yeah, in fact, in quite oddly, but in one case actually, since the qualifier there is you've had sexual relations with a woman, even lesbians can be, accused of committing vowsy because the lesbian
boom.
has a
By the way, I went to a BGC Manila yesterday, and I went into what's up, Miguel? Where you been, Miguel? You don't really come around that much no more. I was traumatized by his stinky farts. Yes, old fat boomers who drink a lot of alcohol can have bad breath and very stinky alcoholic farts and gas because they drink and then they get hungry. This is why they're fat asses, because they drink and then they get hungry because their body's trying to soak up that alcohol and sober them up. So they're eating more. They're eating more street food. They're eating like some Tehran, some banana cues, some what's the ones that I like to eat? Forgot what they're called. It's like a Filipino egg roll. What is that thing called? I don't know what it's called. Anyways, they're eating all the street food. They're eating chicken ass because they sell chicken ass on the street. I'm serious. I went to the guy one time. I said, "What is that?" He said, "It's chicken ass." I was like, "Are you serious?" He was like, "I thought he was joking. I thought it was a joke." It was not a joke. I was not being pranked. They were really selling some chicken ass. And I was like, chicken ass? What? I was going to eat it too. I didn't care. I was like, I got to try it. I got to eat this chicken ass out. I'm joking, guys. Rachel was like, no, don't eat the chicken ass. I was like, it's for the vlog, sweetie. I got to do it for the vlog. It's going to go viral. Eating chicken ass in the Philippines. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing, you know. I know these boomers, these dirty old boomers are at the bar picking up girls every night, different girl eating different asses every night. I just ate one chicken ass, all right? These dirty boomers, dirty drunk boomers are trying to eat a different ass out every night over here on Red Street.
Relation with a girlfriend.
Can the man do the same thing to the woman?
Violence against women only protects women and the children.
Attorney, we should have men's rights to make it.
I believe so. And I'm an advocate of that. I mean, in our society today, where of course women wants to promote equality with men, then I believe laws should also be equal.
Nowadays, women are abusive. They're like exploiting the law. Is it even possible that
Yeah, so
a foreigner can go to jail for years on just an allegation?
Any person, Filipino or foreigner, can be arrested based on a valid complaint. And if there's a probable cause, there has to be evidence. Before you get arrested, there should be a preliminary investigation.
Well, I think you should also have it like, this is one of those things. I think this is something that doesn't ever get talked about is foreigners are always talking about having like an emergency savings in case you need to go to the hospital. But I think you should also have an emergency savings in case you have some legal problems, because there's pretty much nothing you can't buy your way out of in the Philippines. Let me just throw that out there. If you get in a little trouble, you just put some money in a little envelope and pass it under the table, and you should be good to go. You should be good to go. Like I said, if this guy had a paid, he wouldn't be in jail. He probably didn't have the money. That's another thing about these guys too. He probably just didn't even have the money to pay it off because he is a broke ass boomer living Social Security check to Social Security check. Yeah, that's true too. I think if he had been a younger, handsome man, he would not have been reported. Like if you're an old, ugly, drunkard, fat boomer, you are more of a target for scams and things like that too, because they don't let's just be honest. Let's be realistic, guys. I think some Filipinos do love their husbands, even if their husbands are fat and gross. But realistically, a young Filipina is just not, because I've seen like some of these younger Filipinos that are with these older men, they themselves, the younger Filipina is usually not that attractive, right? She might have like some acne on her face or something like that. But if these old dudes, they don't want to go after those young girls that have acne. They want like the perfect 10 out of 10, 19 years, but like one day past 18 years old, barely legal. They're like waiting for her to turn 19 or 18. And so, yeah. That girl's not. It's just the same way men aren't attracted to fat women. Women just aren't going to be attracted to like an old fat guy. And there are some old guys here who are attractive. They're still young and in shape, and they work out, and so they do it to themselves. This is why I don't feel sorry for fat people. They do it to themselves, especially the older boomers. And then they blame it on age. Oh, I'm just getting old, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yes, you can. Stop eating. Fast. Go on a fast. Take a vacation from food.
That's done by the prosecutor before a case is filed against you. But generally, you cannot really be arrested just by mere allegations. When a girlfriend accuses somebody of committing crimes against her, those are allegations first, unless, of course, corroborated by evidence, such as testimonies of probably.
All right, so there you go. You do need evidence. Like I said, I've been here long enough. Yeah, Fasting is God's weight loss pill. That is true. Fasting is a great weight loss pill. I've been here long enough to, you know, the legal system here, the police, they're not going to do nothing without evidence. They're just not even going to waste their time, not on some bullshit domestic thing like that too. Especially when not with that and some hard evidence. You're going to have some hard evidence to get the police to waste their time on some bullshit domestic argument crap. They're going to be like, yeah, we got more important things to do. Because I was standing over there doing nothing, all right, before you came and bothered me with this crap. Like, no one cares. No one cares about you fighting with your girlfriend in the Philippines. Because the police here are like rational enough to know that it's probably just a crazy Filipina and some crazy foreigner. And they don't care if two crazies got together and started bumping uglies. Right? They're not going to waste their time. Like, you know what? This is it, because it's a waste of time for them. You know what I mean? It's absolute waste of time. So yeah, she would have to have some serious evidence. He'd probably have to like physically be beating her. She'd have to have it like recording him beating her. And then the police would be like, okay, yeah, we better go handle this foreigner. All right, let's see. What else are we going to get into today, guys? I forgot what we're going to talk. Oh, let's go to this video. This is a new channel, Dapper Dev. I don't know if you guys know about this guy yet. He's kind of up. He's blowing up because he's a fairly attractive red pill guy. So let's go to his new video. Men are being shamed for being single and childless. And the reason I wanted to do a reaction to this video is because he's also, like I said, real red pill guys are usually religious. And he's also like, he's not super hardcore religious, but he has said that he is a Christian and he does believe in God and Jesus. And so I can respect that. I can respect a devil worshiper. The only people I really can't respect is like, you know, people who like people, what is the people who don't believe in anything? Atheist. I just can't, like, I'm like, I don't know why. I just can't. I'm like, you don't believe in nothing? Like, not even like you know, Allah, somebody. Pick a God, and then I can work with that. Pick a God and I can work with you. I can meet you halfway if you pick a God. But if you're an atheist, like, I really can't help you.
Men not being leaders, men can't lead anymore. Well, it's kind of hard to
Can you
lead
guys hear this one?
when you can't even pay the bills. And I'm hard on men about this one, but let's be real. The cost of living is rough. And I've preached many times to young men that you're going to have to work overtime. You're going to have to do side hustles and this and that. Well, that doesn't leave much time for dating or much.
So yeah, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I know he said he's a religious guy and he wears that cross and everything. But I don't think he goes to church that much because I don't think he knows that this actually happens mostly in the church. Mostly in the church, single men get so shamed in the church, especially if you're single and childless. I mean, you just get they'll just look at you like you are the weirdest thing they've ever seen. They're like, what's wrong with you? And when are you just gonna man up and marry one of these fat single mothers in the church? And you're just like, bro, these fat single mothers don't even want me. You know, you're just like an average dude. You're not, you know, you're just average. And you have a job and you have a car. And, you know, you go to work, you do your job, you pay your bills, but you don't have a lot of extra cash, you know. These women don't even want you. And these pastors and these Christians are shaming these men for not marrying women who don't even want them. That's what's crazy about it. I told you guys my stories. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad I'm in the Philippines now with Rachel. My horror stories from dating Christian women. I don't have any good stories about dating Christian women. Yeah, 6 figures is kind of poor in America now. You got to have like 200K, 250K. You can't just not that 100K dream is not good enough anymore. Because you can't even buy a house. Like 100K, like a house is like $500,000. Like you can buy a shack for $500,000. You can't even buy a decent house. For a decent house, you're going to need at least $1 million, $2 million in America. I know, because I was technically working in real estate before I left. I was working in like remodeling, like flipping homes. I was working for a company that basically flipped homes, like very expensive homes, like multi-million dollar homes. So I kind of learned, and I was looking around to buy a house too, and there was still some kind of affordable ones back then, but that was years ago. There's no escaping it. Yeah, I know. Recently, I've been getting in arguments with men, though. Women aren't even really that argumentative anymore about it. I'm seeing like so many simps getting their feelings hurt these days. Like men simps. Like they're so threatened and offended by like, I don't want to like, are they jealous? Is that like, are they low key like jealous? I don't want to say they're jealous, but I don't really know what would make a random guy get so upset at another man for leaving the country, getting a hot, beautiful Filipino woman and living a happy life. What would make a random guy be so upset about that? Like, yeah, mostly with me, the arguments that I've been having are like with men. And that's what I'm saying. The West is getting way worse than it used to be. Because I used to have arguments, I really didn't even talk to women when I lived in the West, but I could see where I could have had arguments with women in the West. Like I basically knew, like I was dating a woman in the West. I knew she was a feminist. And I basically just told her what she wanted to hear because I was just sleeping with her, right? It was just sex. So I knew how to like kind of play the game. But, before I left there was still like, I could still have some conversations with men in America. Like I would go to work and we would still kind of have like some red pill conversations and it was all cool. But nowadays, man, I don't know what's going on in America. Maybe all the red pill guys just left. Maybe that's what it is. And like, there's nothing left in America but the simps. And the simps are worse than the feminists. They really are. Which is funny because the feminists don't even respect the simps. So I don't even know what they're simping for. Like, who are you trying to save? They're trying to save the West because they don't want to go all Mad Max. Because they don't want to watch their girlfriend get banged out by a drug lord in front of them. I love her. And she's going to be like, oh, yeah, but you're not the drug lord, so I'm going to be blowing him tonight. And you're going to watch. Or he's going to kill you.
Energy for dating, myself included. Like I've been single for a while now and I really don't even try to date. I haven't dated really in quite a while. I haven't really wanted to because I got to focus on making money. I got to focus on, the gym. I got to focus on things that I want to focus on and that I need to focus on in order to keep your head above water. And even,
I don't even think they're liberal men. I've noticed that these guys, these simps, they don't know what they believe in. Especially the ones that don't believe in God. When you don't believe in God, you have absolutely no direction and your belief system is just all over the place. Like one day they'll say something and the next day they'll say like the complete opposite. There's no compass, there's no direction. There's just nothing. When you don't believe in God, you can see it. They're all over the place. Like when I had the argument with Cisco, he's all like, yeah, I believe in women have rights over their body and bodily autonomy. And he's just basically regurgitating some shit he heard on the news, right? He doesn't even know what he's saying. Doesn't even know like the definition of the words that are coming out of his mouth. And then on the next thing, he's all like, well, this and that. And I don't know, like, you're just all over the place. There's no consistency with what these people believe. You know what I mean? That's another reason why I love the Bible. And then these same people will say, well, the Bible's not black and white. And I was like, one of the main reasons why I love the Bible so much is because it is black and white. It gives us the exact answer for every situation in life. And that's what they don't like. The reason they hate that the Bible is black and white and the reason they want to make it not black and white is so then they can manipulate it. I mean, that's the only reason. This is why Christians do it too. This is why Christians want to say, well, you know, that's not what God meant, or that was in the Old Testament. It's all so they can slowly start to twist and manipulate it to say what they wanted to say what's not going to offend the women and the weak men, because now I guess these pastors have to worry more about these weak men than these women. Because my goodness, I can't imagine how hard it is to be a pastor now. Like before, you used to have to just not offend the women. Now you got to not offend the women and not offend the weak men. Like, God dang, that's a lot of hoops you got to jump through to be a pastor in America. Hell no. So glad I left.
Take a shot at thriving financially, you're not going to have much time for dating. You're just not. And most women in general, as we all know, you got to spend a lot of time with them. You got to put a lot of work and a lot of energy into keeping them satisfied, more so now than ever. You know, you're fighting with the smartphone to keep her attention and to keep her attracted and interested in you. I mean, the cell phone's undefeated. Social media's undefeated. So financially, most young men.
Oh, no. Gotta get that ad money.
They don't even see it being possible, right? To raise a family, because not too many people are buying the nice house with the green grass.
Yeah. Like, who's being more irrational? The man who's single, or the pastor who's telling the man who's single, why are you single? Like, who's the more irrational human being? Like, are you serious? Do you not know what's going on in the world, pastor, man of God? And it's because they have a church full of single women. I've seen this too in the last church that I was in. These pastors know what they're doing. They are very, very sneaky. They are covertly, they're trying to shame the single men to date the single women in the church, because they know they have a majority of single women, and they're selling these single women lies. They're like, well, if you just keep praying, if you just keep coming to church and keep praying and asking God for a man, instead of telling these women to actually, you know, be feminine and not fat, right? If a fat woman comes into my church and says, hey, I'm looking for a husband, the very first thing out of my mouth is going to be like, you're not going to find one. I don't care how much you pray. All right? Because God's not working those kind of miracles. Okay? God's not in the business of trying to find you a husband because you want to remain a fat ass. All right, lose weight, and then we can talk to God about it. Then God can give God something to work with, because you're making it kind of hard. Because God would have to make that man, like, God could do it, but that's not how God made men. God would have to rewrite the whole genetic code that he put inside a man, and he's not going to do that. God's not going to change his original creation to suit a fat woman, right? God's not going to be like, well, let me rewrite the whole male DNA and what men are attracted to. You know, God's got to go in there like he's a coder. You know, he's rewriting the matrix. Yeah, no man will protect. That's true. I say that too. Yeah, they're cooked. And that's exactly what the government wants. The government doesn't want men to protect the women, because that way when the government flips the script on American women, it's going to be bad. It's going to be real bad. And we know that the government is going to do that because Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1 says that there's going to be a reproach on women. And that reproach is going to come from the government. It's not going to come from God. To the Nephilim, probably. Women will sleep with anything. They don't. The women are actually more like, when it comes to, because that's like hypergamy. The reason that women in the Bible slept with the Nephilim is that was hypergamy in the Bible, by the way. Hypergamy is all over the Bible too. I haven't actually done a Bible study on that. Well, I have, but not like put it on YouTube or anything. But yeah, that is one of the first instances of hypergamy in the Bible, because the Nephilim were like the alpha males of the time. So the women were drawn to them. Obviously, the women wanted to sleep with the Nephilim so they could have the protection. Also, the Nephilim were the fallen angels who taught the humans magic. And I really think that's how, like, cavemen learned how, like, the Big Bang Theory people, they're like, well, how did, people learn things? They learned it from the Nephilim. Like, this is how we learned how to make fire and stuff like that. The fallen angels came down and taught the humans things like that, but they also taught them bad things. So we see this in the movie. You should watch that movie. I think it's called Immortals. Watch that movie Immortals. That's basically the story of the Nephilim. And Hollywood steals all its movies out of the Bible, by the way. All those superhero movies, all out of the Bible. So yeah, watch that movie Immortals. That's basically the Nephilim. That's basically Hollywood stole the Nephilim out of the Bible, and then they made a movie about it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the Watchers. The Watchers might have been Nephilim too. I haven't read too much of Enoch, but I do need to get around to reading Enoch. I actually was going to do some videos on the book of Sirach, which is in the Apocrypha. So I don't know what the connection is between the Watchers and the Nephilim. I don't know if they're two different entities or the same. I'll have to look that up.
And the cute puppy in the yard with the white picket fence and the porch swing and the tire swing in the yard. Nobody's doing that. Nobody even has much hope in that. Now, like I say, try to be positive and grind and work your ass off, but good luck putting, this crazy sadistic amount of work into making money and getting ahead alongside of properly courting, dating a woman. It's very, very difficult. Also, the dating market itself, which we've all talked about many, many times. You want to find a woman that is a builder. Shout out to George Bruno. That's a very good channel.
So yeah, these pastors want to shame me for being single because they've got a church full of single women that they're selling lies and dreams to, telling them that they're going to find a man. So they want these, and I fell for this too. I'm speaking from experience. I had pastors telling me, hey, look, why don't you date this girl? Why don't you date that girl? Girls in the church. And, because I'm a man of God, I believe in submitting to my authority, especially my biblical spiritual authority. If that's a pastor, and I go to that church, then, as a good Christian, you have to submit to the pastor, right? So I was like, okay, pastor, sure. She's, she's not the prettiest, but she's not the ugliest. Could be worse. So, and then I would go to those girls and I would be like, hey, pastor suggested that maybe, you and I should hook up, make a baby or something, not like that, but basically just say, hey, look, let's just exchange phone numbers. Let's go out on a date and see where it goes. I mean, pastor said, and the girls would be like, nah. And then I'd go back to pastor and I'd be like, pastor, she said no. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, you can't shame me now. At this point, you can't shame me anymore. Because I already did what you told me to do, and she said no. So, like, obviously, these girls, and the reason why, because women have what they call intuition. Women know when they can't control a man. Like, they can sense it. So that's why they say, this is why Christian women won't date me. And this is why I say all married men are simps, because women will not marry a man that they can't control. They absolutely will not do it. And this is actually biblical too. This is why men get so upset when I say this. And I can prove it biblically, because the Bible says in Genesis that her desire will be to control you. So women live under the curse, the original curse from the original sin. And they don't know that, because no one preaches this. No one tells these women, hey, you are living under a curse. The reason you're trying to control your husband is because you're under the curse. You have to tell these women that they live under a curse. So then when they start to try and control their husband, or when they feel that urge to control their husband, they can remind themselves, oh, this is the curse. This isn't what God wanted. This isn't what God intended. God intended for me to actually submit to my husband, not try to control him. So you should not be living under the curse anymore because of Jesus, right? but because Christian pastors, they don't want to help you. If they really wanted it, they're like pharmaceutical companies, right? They want to keep you well enough to keep coming to church, but they don't really want to heal you, right? Because they know if they heal you, you might not go to church anymore. Watchers are angels who gave into their desire for women, which created the Nephilim and the Book of Enoch. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking they were the same, one and the same. I mean, like if I had to make a guess, that's what I would say, that the Watchers and the Nephilim were the same, just based on my biblical knowledge. But like I said, I haven't really read the Book of Enoch extensively, like studied, because there's a difference between reading and studying. So a lot of people just read the Bible. They don't actually remember that the Bible is actually a textbook that's meant to be studied, not just read. It's not Harry Potter. Okay, you read for entertainment. You study the Bible to learn and get revelation from God. There's a difference. That's another reason why first of all, these Christians don't even read their Bibles. It's like pulling teeth to get a Christian to read their Bible. And secondly, when they do read it, they read for like 5 seconds, then they pat themselves on the back. They feel like they did a good thing, but they didn't actually study the Bible. They read it for entertainment. And they read it for, they're not trying to please God. Most people just go, they get, when something bad happens, they're desperate. Then they got like, oh, I got to pray and go read my Bible because now I need God. Instead of just waking up on a Monday, but like, you know what? It's a good day. I think I'm going to go pray and read my Bible. Nothing's going wrong today. All right, let's go to the next video. What's the next video? Let's see. I don't know. We're doing reactions to my watch history. What is in my watch history? I was watching some old movies earlier. Okay. I like watching these old movies. This movie right here is actually, I'm going to put this on my channel. You guys should watch this movie. This one right here called Northside. This is actually a really good movie, really good black and white movie about a guy who's like falsely accused of a crime, and the reporters trying to prove that he's innocent, and the government people, the state doesn't want to believe them because they don't want to look bad for being bad, dirty cops. It's a great movie. I watched the whole thing already. So it's called Northside 777. It's on YouTube. You guys can watch it for free. Excellent movie. All right, let's see. Next, should we go back to Philippines life through the eyes of an expat? This guy is actually getting pretty popular on YouTube. This old guy right here. He's not from America though. He's from like Australia or something. Philippines life, so easy to be evicted from your land you have bought here. Okay. What was his name? Nick was talking about that. That was another one of Nick's arguments. All right, let's just see what he has to say about this, because I have some things to say about the Philippines as well. Probably Adam. Adam bought land in Thailand. I don't know. So can you own land in Thailand, Adam? Or did you just buy it like in your wife's name? Go Beckley, Tepi. Whoa. Well, no wonder you're such a wise man. No wonder I like Adam. See, I knew there was a kindred spirit there. See, I can discern people. I really can discern people. Adam is a good guy. He might not have it all figured out yet, but none of us do. All right, so I don't know if Adam, are you still here? I think you're still here because you just commented. So did you buy the land in Thailand in your name or in your wife's name? Or you don't have to answer if that's none of my business. I'm just wondering as far as like land purchases go in Thailand. Oh, but you can lease the land. Okay, so you can lease land. I don't know about leasing in the Philippines either. You probably can lease land in the Philippines from the owner. I don't think the owner owner would be more than happy to lease the land to a foreigner, I think. Leased it in my name, okay. So as far as buying land, okay, so I do know, actually, I just remembered. I was walking the other day and I met a new person. I was taking a walk, taking a little old man walk. And I met a guy around the corner who has a house, and he owns the houses across the street from his house, and he rents them out. And he said that he still goes back and forth to America and everything. And he said that I guess when he was sending his wife some money, his Filipino wife some money over here, and that she was basically, and this is why this is a good Filipina. This is an example of a good Filipina. He was sending his wife money just because, right? Just to help her out, to pay the bills, whatever she needed, right? He's just being a good husband. He's in America working. She's over here. He's sending her money to take care of her, right? That's what a man and a husband's supposed to do. And he told me that's what, this is a story. He told me that he was just sending her the money because, he's just taking care of his wife. And so he's sending her money, but he didn't know that she was actually saving the money that he was sending her. And she apparently saved enough money to buy the apartments that were across the street from their house. And she bought them with the money that he had been sending her. So I was like, dang, that is a good Filipina. She basically just invested your money, bought some land, property for you guys, and now they rent out those apartments as well. So when it comes to land, that would be my advice would be, obviously find the right woman, the woman you can trust, a wise woman who can, handle your money. And then, just put everything in her name. And I know most expats are like, no, don't do that. You're going to lose everything. You're going to get scammed. And yeah, you are going to get scammed if you get a dumb Filipino. But a smart Filipina, she's going to make your money make money. All right. That's what Rachel's doing right now. Rachel's live right now. She's probably going to make she probably already made like $400 or $500 today. And she's live right now. She might go today might be a record, actually. She might set a record today. I think the most money she made in one day was like $400. And I know she likes to try and break the record. But most of the money we've been reinvesting into the company. All right. So you can get a good Filipina here that you can trust, especially if she's your wife. If she's your wife, you should be able to trust her enough to put things in her name. Right? These Filipinas are not Western women. You can actually trust them and put things in their name. It's not like when you marry a Western woman and she's basically only marrying you so she can take all your stuff away. That's not like Filipinas don't have starter husbands like American women do. Filipino women aren't thinking about the divorce the day they get married, the way Western women plan the divorce before they even get married. Western women already know they're going to divorce your dumb ass and take all your money in your house and your kids. And they're basically just going to leave you with a car to live in so you can keep driving to work and paying your alimony and your child support. Yeah, exactly. Filipino women are wise women because they can think. That's the problem. The problem with Western women is they think like right now. They can't think long term. They can only think like they want what they want right now. They want the physical pleasure right now. They're not thinking about the long term. Most Filipino women are actually very smart. They're very wise. They think long term. They think about investing. They look at a man and they say, okay, this is my husband. And, I need to make sure that I love him and take care of him because long term, he's going to make money and take care of me, and then the money that he makes, we also need to like reinvest that money to make more money. Like Filipino women are all like, even Rachel's thinking even more outside the box than I am. I mean, Rachel, she gave me like a revelation the other day that just blew my mind. And I was like, you know what? You're kind of right about that. Yeah. Well, you need to pray. Honestly, I didn't take time finding Rachel. Rachel, God pretty much sent her to me. Like I remember, I'll tell you guys a story about Rachel. So when I was planning to come to the Philippines, I was still like doubting, you know, whether or not I should come over here because, you know, when you're in the West, everyone's always telling you like, oh, you're crazy, you shouldn't do that. And so, you know, I'm not like somebody who doesn't listen to wise counsel, right? Because the Bible says that we need to listen to wise counsel. So I'm not going to just ignore, because my pastor, like literally my pastor told me not to come, not to move to the Philippines. And I was like, I don't know, pastor, like really, I kind of been knowing like my whole life, kind of really, that I was going to not live in America. And then right around somewhere around the age of 20, no, pretty close to 30. That's kind of when I started thinking like, yeah, I think I'm going to live in the Philippines. You know, and then when I turned 40, you know, when you turn 40, that's like the golden age where you just stop giving a shit. And I'm like, you know what? And then, you know, 40 and then COVID happened and the world, America was going crazy. And I was like, I'm out of this. I am out of here. And the Bible says, come out from among her, my people, so that you will not be partakers in her sin. And I was like, yes, Lord, I'm getting the hell out of here. I don't want to be partakers in all these homosexuals and their sin and these simps and these women worshipers and these Christmas tree worshipers and these Easter egg bunny shitting eggs worshipers. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done. You know, so I was still doubting it. I was like 98%. Like I was going to come to the Philippines, but I still had a lot of doubt in my mind about it. And so I had to pray. I had to pray a lot. And I was praying. It was like Saturday. I know it was a Saturday because I was cleaning my apartment and I always clean my apartment on Saturday. It was Saturday. I'm cleaning my apartment and I'm praying the whole day while I'm cleaning about coming to the Philippines. I'm just like, God, you're gonna have to give me a sign. I know I don't really like asking God for a sign because I feel like that's kind of disrespectful, but you know, that's just my own thing, whatever. And I was like, okay, God, on this one, this is kind of a big deal. I'm gonna need a sign or something. I don't know. And so I prayed about it all day Saturday, and then 2 days later, Rachel messaged me on Facebook. And I don't know how I knew, but I know it was God. I was like, God literally told me, I'm sending her to help you. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to the Philippines. And then after that, there was no doubt in my mind at all. Like I knew God was sending Rachel to help me. And that's exactly what happened when I got here. Like Rachel did everything. She set up the apartment. She set up my hotel when I first got here. Like, you know, everything. The light, she still does everything. She's like, I don't even know how we pay the light bill. Honestly, I don't. Rachel pays it. I don't know if she pays it online. I don't know. Rachel does everything. So yeah, she's been a huge help. She's an actual helpmate. All right. She is a biblical helpmate. Yeah, you need to have the right mindset. And that mindset is, and I tell guys this too, is like, if you're coming to the Philippines for women, probably not going to succeed over here. There's just too much temptation. There really is. Like if I wanted to, I could go cheat. I could go sleep around with other Filipinas, but that's not why I'm here. Like I know why I'm here. I'm here to basically, like I said, the Bible says, come out from among her, my people. I know God doesn't want me living in America no more because there's too much sin and debauchery over there. And God has called me out of that mess. And also because I'm a heterosexual white man. All right. And Nick is all talking, was it Nick? Nick is all talking about you don't have any freedom to talk about the government. I don't care about talking about the government. I care about just having the freedom to be a man. All right. And the Philippines gives me that. The Philippines allows me to be a man. The Philippines might not want you talking about their government, and that's okay. But I'm allowed to talk about whatever else I want to talk about. We pay our electric bill at 7-Eleven. Yeah, I think we've done that before. I think we've paid our electric bill at 7-Eleven before, once or twice. I think we used to pay it at the mall, and now I'm pretty sure Rachel just pays it online now. So the Philippines is getting more developed now. You don't have to go to the place anymore. I remember like the first month I came here, Rachel took me to the water company to pay the bill for her apartment. And that was probably the only time. I think after that, we started going to pay at the mall. And then after that, a few months later, we just started paying everything online. So the Philippines is a developing country now. You can pay your bills online. But if you're old fashioned, you can still go to the water company and pay them. You can still go to the internet company and pay them. Or they have like you can go to the customer service in the mall. They have like a grocery store in the mall that has like a customer service in there. Most people pay their bills there too. Yeah, that's true too. Southeast Asia, here, I'll put that on the board. That's a good one. I always forget to post comments up there in my live streams. How's it going? Liam in Asia. Liam in Asia. Oh, that's a new guy. Hey, bro, how's it going? Southeast Asian women appreciate you for simply being a man. Yeah, that's true. Simply being a man. You will be surprised at how little it takes to what you do. Like the simps in America do so much just to get like a pat on the head from Western women. Yeah, I don't consider the Philippines a third world country. I consider it pretty first world. There's nothing like I go to 7-Eleven, it's like a gas station. He broke. Yeah. All right. No, we're supposed to be doing a reaction video to him. I'm just got off on a tangent talking about other things. This is just a random live stream. Just checking, playing with my new mic and stuff. Still playing with my new ASMR mic that Rachel bought me, by the way. Rachel bought me this mic is $100 mic, by the way. We looked it up. The mic is $100 and Rachel literally paid like $10 for this mic. So see, another example of a good, smart Filipina saving you money. Somehow she found this mic online on sale for like, it was like $12. I don't even know. It was so cheap. And we looked it up and the actual mic cost about $100. It's like 5,000 pesos. He's in red zone, Philippines. Well, yeah, technically I am in red zone. Yeah. But there's more to Angeles City than just red light district. Angeles City is actually a pretty cool place. Oh, he's in red zone? Are you talking about the old guy? Oh, yeah, no, that's true. If you're broken, another country will not magically fix your problems. Yeah, you need God. Okay, so me coming to the Philippines, like the Philippines was part of God's plan to fix me, but because like I was an alcoholic, so and I'm not anymore. I'm like 2 years sober. So that was God. That was all God. And now I have Rachel, a happy, successful relationship, a happy heterosexual relationship with a strong, independent, but submissive woman who is very smart and currently making money as we speak. I don't know if you guys can hear her in the other room doing her live. No, the British guy. Oh yeah, all right, let's get back to the live stream. We're gonna do this reaction video. So, oh yeah, we were talking about buying land. So I was saying that yes, you can't legally buy land in the Philippines, but you can buy condos. I don't think Nick knows that, by the way. You can buy all the condos you want in the Philippines, which I think is honestly a better investment than land. As far as real estate goes, the condos here, there's like so many of them. You know, you can rent your condo out, you can to other foreigners. You can, you know, because there are a lot of like rich guys who just want to come over here and have fun and party with girls and stuff. I mean, you can just, you know, price gouge those guys because they don't know any better. They're just going to see a nice condo and be like, oh, this is a nice place for me to bang out some, you know, 19-year-old Filipinos. So yeah, they're going to be dirty old rich guys. You might as well take advantage of them. You lease land in the Philippines. I don't know. You probably can. I don't think you 100% ownership of condos yet. Yeah. So I'm actually looking to, like, when I get some more money to buy a condo too. I really, really would like to buy a condo here. And I don't even necessarily want to live in my condo because I like where I live right now, but I would still like to own a condo. So that's probably one of my next big dreams, is to own a condo here in the Philippines. And I really want, there's some condos here across the street from the mall that I really like those condos. Like, I really want one of those. So definitely looking forward to that. Oh, if you can, okay. Ilo has good quality of life. Ilo, yeah. I don't know. I kind of stay away from the South Philippines because that's where all the boomers are. And the boomers are simps. The boomers are really ruining those parts of the Philippines. Is where the boomer simps are going, and they're kind of ruining the women down there. That's one good thing about living in Angeles City, is that there's actually like a lot of good girls here, but because there's not good men don't come here. If you are a good man looking for a good girl, I think Angeles City is a good place to do that, because there's just not enough good men here for the good girls that are actually here. Believe it or not, there's girls here who actually work at the mall. You know, they have like regular jobs. They're good girls. They go to church. They love Jesus. Like, not everyone in Angeles City is working on Red Street. Like, somebody has to work at Jollibee. So yeah, there's a lot of good girls here, and there's just not that many good guys, because good guys just come here for Red Street. So if you are a good guy, I think Angeles City has a lot of potential for you to actually find a good girl. All right, so buying land. My point is, put the land in your wife's name. If you have a Filipino wife, go buy whatever you want and put it in her name. Which is even better, because if you are a foreigner, trust me, you do not want the American government all up in your real estate. So that's another reason to put it in her name. You put everything in your wife's name. And this is what rich people do anyways, by the way. The reason the rich people in America don't pay taxes is because nothing's in their name. They just don't tell you guys those secrets. You guys are all mad about, oh, rich people should pay more taxes. Don't be mad at them because they figured out how to work the system. Samar. Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of the girls here are province girls too. Because I hear a lot of guys talking about, oh, I want a province girl. I don't want to go to the city because I want a province girl. I'm like, you know, like, most of the girls come to the city from the province to work. I went to Thailand. Yeah, your story is actually pretty amazing too, by the way. Your story is very inspirational, or really your testimony. That's really a testimony. That is a life testimony. Like, not only are you still, you know, with us, you're still with the living, but you found your wife and you're happy, and you're living happily ever after. Yeah, so I think that was definitely God's plan for your life too. I mean, obviously, I think if you can't see God in that, like, I don't know, that is a very, like, I'm not the kind of guy who gets like moved, you know what I mean? Like, I'm usually pretty in control. I'm like, my mood or my emotions are kind of always like stable, like just here. But your story is very impressive. Really touched my heart. I'm not gonna lie. One tear fell out of my eye. All right, let's watch this. Let's watch this bloke, this old fearmonger guy.
And the reason I'm making this video is because recently, over the last 2 days, the people who bought land down here, as my dog, he's found me. They bought land down here, and quite a bit of land. And it's not just one person; it's several people. And
I think you're all, hold on, let me just say
they've had the
thing.
land
Another thing about condos is you're a lot less likely to, like, I don't think you could get scammed buying a condo. You can get scammed buying land, but I don't think you're going to get scammed buying a condo. So I think it's a lot safer to only one tier. Yeah, only one, because I'm a man. I'm a real man. Real man only cries one tear at a time, one tear a year. You got my one yearly tear. I'm joking. I'm joking. When I was going through withdrawals, I was sobbing like a baby every day. I was like, oh, Jesus, make it stop.
For about
That was rough. It's funny now, but that was rough.
years. Now, there was a deed of sale and some documents that they got when they bought the land. Okay, so they thought everything was legal and above board, and the person who they bought it off lives down there too. So what happened was they tried to get surveys done. It's silly buying land without a survey anyway. I think it's actually illegal to buy land without having a proper survey done. Anyway, what it is, there has been a dispute.
All right, sounds like clickbait. Sounds like they didn't do their homework. Sounds like they're just dumb. They did something dumb.
More and more people have bought land, and there's 5 hectares down there, and it's agricultural land. Okay, so it shouldn't have really been sold as residential land to begin with, but it was. So what's happened? One of the people, he went to an attorney to try and get it sorted out, because there's been no title, no mother title, or a portion of the mother title. So what's happened, guys, is he went and paid some money to find out exactly what's going on, because they tried to get a survey done, and the surveyor, when he come out here, he said, I can't survey this land because this land is.
Yeah, there could be a scam. I was thinking more about the other reason, that thing that actually originally got me interested in buying a condo is the fact that the Philippines does have a new law, a citizenship law, that if you invest $75,000 in real estate here, you can get what is it called? It's not citizenship, it's residency. You can get residency here, which means you're not going to have to go and apply for visas every 2 months or every 6 months. I'm actually going to try to get the 6-month visa next time we go to Manila. I don't think you can get it, but Rachel says you can. I'm pretty convinced that they don't give 6-month visas anymore. And I'm pretty, because I'm just thinking like conspiracy theory. I know the Western government doesn't want people having 6-month visas no more, because they want to be keeping track of their people for, global population decline, WW3, whatever. So I don't think I can get a 6-month visa, but I'm going to try. It's worth a try. So we're going to go, because they said that we can get a 6-month visa, and the Angeles immigration office said that we can get it in Manila. So we're going to go ask them, see if we can. If we can, great. If not, okay, I will keep you guys updated on that. But the reason that I was interested in the condo was because the Philippines does have they'll give you residency if you invest $75,000 in real estate. So you will not have to go, get your visa and things like that. You can come and go into the country whenever you want, stay as long as you want, without having to do visa runs and things like that. So that's why I wanted to get the residency. SSR visa with buying property. So I would really like to get some kind of dual citizenship in the Philippines. I'll join the Filipino army if I have to. And agents take a lot. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the agents do get a lot. That's actually a good job for the Filipino people, though, is being those real estate agents, because they do get a good commission from that. I told Rachel to go do it, to go be a real estate agent. but she didn't want to do it.
Owned by the bank. Not this land, the land I'm talking about, which is adjoining this area here. So that made people worried down there. Obviously, he's going to make them worried, isn't it? So they've looked into it more, and the lady who sold the land that didn't belong to her.
Use code PANDA100 and get 100 pesos off. Taste good deals from Greenwich, Goldilocks.
All right, it's just clickbait, guys. These guys didn't do their homework. I don't know. What you just went up to some random person and here's a bag of money. Okay, this is your land now. Like dum-dums. Like honestly, I haven't been scammed in the Philippines. Been here 2 years and haven't been scammed. Like dumb people are getting scammed. Only dumb people. If it was that easy to get scammed, like I don't think I'm the sharpest tool in the shed, and I haven't been scammed. I've been here 2 years. But honestly, I guess in my defense, I mean, maybe God's protecting me. I don't think anyone's even actually tried to scam me. Yeah, it seems like common sense. Like if I was buying a property, I probably would have went to the local government office, barangay office. That would have been the first thing I did, and asked them about the land. Talk to somebody in the government about whether or not that land, I could legally buy that land. I wouldn't have just, like, I know the guy before said buy from the seller, and I think that's the problem. These guys actually, you are going to have to pay those extra fees, but you're paying those extra fees. Like you're going through the real estate agent to ensure that you legally can buy that land. And so, yes, you are going to have to pay extra fees for the real estate agent, but that's just what you got to do to make sure everything's legit. So that's why I'm recommending, like, you know, I know this guy's saying go to the owner, but that's how you get scammed. You get scammed because, you know, you can't really just go to the owner because you don't know that the owner might not be the owner. Yeah, like I don't know how people get scammed. I really don't. Like you have to willfully put yourself in a dark alley on purpose to get scammed. And even then, I don't think I would get scammed. Like these guys are chasing skirts down dark alleys and then like, I don't know why I got robbed. Oh, the Philippines is so dangerous. It's like you chase some girl down a dark alley. What the hell did you think was going to happen? For a dead couple. That sounds like a government scam. The government got you. Government got you on that one. So yeah, I think I would rather prefer to go through the real estate agent just to make sure everything's on the up and legit. If and when I buy my condo. So I went over there like a few weeks ago to see how much those condos were, but they weren't open when I went over there. So I'm gonna have to go back and let you guys know. Keep you guys posted on those condos. Show you guys, do a video on my new condo. Brag, flex my new condo. I'm rich. I got a condo I don't even live in. That's how you know you're rich. When you buy shit you don't even use, you're rich as fuck. When you have clothes with tags still on it in your closet, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being so rich, I buy condos I don't live in. I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to live here. This place is a dump. My condo's a dump. Going to Angeles City, by the way, I mean, not Angeles, Manila. They're like BGC is nice, right? I don't know if you guys have actually been to Manila. BGC is nice. The rest of Manila I'm not gonna lie. The rest of Manila looks a little bit scary. I'm a little like I don't. Yeah, Manila looks rough, guys. Manila looks like a rough place to live, and foreigners like living over there in Manila because it's it's a big city, but it looks tough. Most of the horror stories about overseas comes from men making poor choices. Yeah, and like I said, they don't know what their goal. Like they don't have a goal or a purpose, right? They're just here just to like get girls and sleep around and stuff. Like that's not. You're not going to be successful in America with that kind of mindset. Like, what is your goal? What is your purpose? My whole goal was to get BGC is a private owned company. It looks like it. I mean, it wouldn't like I believe it. Because going to BGC is like it's like you're in America. BGC is like you're just in America. I saw like a lesbian couple. I was at Starbucks, lesbian couple, like a Western. It was like a Western lesbian with a Filipino lesbian, and man, she was looking mad at me. Like that's what I like about Western women in the Philippines is how angry they look when they see you with your girlfriend or your wife. And me and Rachel don't even have that big of an age difference. Like honestly, we do have a big age difference, but we kind of look like I don't look as old as I actually am, so people really can't tell. But our age difference is like 14 years. But yeah, when they see them guys, them 60-year-olds with them 20-year-olds, man, these Western women, I see them in the grocery store at the mall and stuff, mad as hell. You can see it all over their face. They're so mad. But yeah, so this lesbian was mugging me at Starbucks yesterday. And I was like, damn, woman, you mad? You in the Philippines and you still mad? These liberals, right? They're leaving America because Trump is president. I'm leaving. They leave America. They're still mad at the world. Like, what the hell? I thought you left for a better life. You're supposed to be happy. I'm happy here. I'm happy. Yeah, you know what? I didn't like living in America because I was a heterosexual white man. And that's no longer okay in America. So I left. I agree with you. If you don't like it, get out, leave. I did it. And now I'm happy. And I love it. I'm free to be a heterosexual white man and have heterosexual sex and talk about how much I love being heterosexual. Praise the Lord. Thank God for the Philippines, where it's still okay to be heterosexual and talk about it and love it. We need to have heterosexual Pride Month. How about the expats live in a bubble? Yeah, I know. A lot of them do live in a bubble. Like a lot of, especially in Manila, like they don't leave Manila. What are your thoughts on man that wants to be girls? Oh, I actually do have some thoughts on that. Actually, is that what your question is? There's a cultural and even like maybe like a spiritual reason behind that. A lot of people don't realize, but because, and I say it's actually part of the church. It's the church's fault. A lot of it is the church's fault. So what happens in our culture, and especially in our Christianity, in our Western Christianity, like Western Christians worship women. Western society worships women. So what happens is men see this. Men see that women getting this worship. And actually men are, and I know this is a controversial statement, but I don't care. Men are demigods. All right. The reason that men are demigods is not that we're actually demigods, but the Bible says, women submit to your husband as unto the Lord. All right. See, they leave that part out because they know that's too much. There's too much truth. So your wife is actually supposed to submit to you as if you were God. And the reason for that is because a wife's submission to her husband is basically the beta test or the practice for her submission to God. Women who don't submit to their husbands won't submit to God, and they will go to hell. All right. God already knows that, hey, if you spent your whole life in rebellion to your husband, you're not going to submit, because women actually are going to get to heaven and try to argue with God. Like, believe it or not, women will actually go to heaven and try to argue with God. Like, I don't know, God. I don't think, So, let me finish. Let me answer the question. So what happens is men see these women being worshipped. Men are saying, well, you know what? I want to live life on easy mode too. And for a lot of these men, because some of these men are faking it, by the way, some of these men are not actually gay. In fact, there was a YouTube channel where the dude basically pretended to be trans for like a year. And then he came out and said, I don't know if it was a YouTube or a TikTok or a Facebook or something. And then he came out and said he was faking the whole thing to prove how easy it is to pretend to be a woman. Yeah. So I think it is a money thing too as well. It is it's a survival. And I think this is the way it was in Bible times too. The weaker men had to basically become these effeminate lady boys and let the alpha men have sex with them in order to survive, because they weren't going to survive any other way. They were just too weak. It's not like these weak men weren't going out to war. But nowadays we have it to where it's more of like it's not a war like with spears and bows and arrows and tanks. It's like a financial war we live in, where these men are saying, hey, look, I'm seeing, because I experienced this too when I was and I've talked to other men when I was in the West at work, especially black men. I've talked to black men at work, and they've said, like, black men have told me in Western work that they know they're not going to get promoted if a woman, or especially a black woman, applies for the same job that they do. They already know it's automatically going to go to the black woman. Now, not anymore, because Trump already got rid of the DIE hires. But before, men kind of knew. They didn't talk about it, but they knew. They knew they were not, if they applied for a job, the only way they were going to get that promotion is if no other woman applied for it. Right? It was automatically going to go to the woman. And I was talking to Andy about this too. It's because of the tax write-off. It wasn't personal. It was just business. Because companies, and most people don't know, but companies are getting these tax write-offs for minorities, for women, minorities, elderly. This is why Walmart has so many elderly working in their store. It's not because they give a damn about elderly. It's not because they care. It's because every single one of those old people is a tax write-off for Walmart. Like, that's all. It's just business. It's just the bottom line. Lady boys will tell they are man. In Thailand, that's another thing too. Here in like in America, the gay culture is kind of forced upon you in America. Like, you're forced to accept it. Like here, I can in the Philippines, I can make fun of gays and it's fine. I can tell gays they're going to hell. No one's gonna, I'm not gonna get counseled. I'm not gonna get counseled in the Philippines for telling a lady boy they're going to hell for being a lady boy. But in America, they counsel you for not wanting to date a man. They'll tell men that, yo, you need to date lady boys. What's wrong with you? Why don't you date lady boys? Real men date lady boys. And they'll counsel you for saying, you know what, I'm not gay. I don't want to date a lady boy. You'll get counseled. You'll be like, oh, they'll shame you. So that's the difference between homosexuality in the Philippines or in Asia versus homosexuality in the West. Homosexuality in the West is forced upon you. They teach the kids in elementary school about gay stuff. They ask the kids in elementary if they're gay or not, and then they're kids. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. So they basically start grooming your children in public school, and they don't do that in Asia. They're not teaching first graders. They're not asking them, "Are you gay? Is your dad mad at you because you're gay?" And you know why they're doing that? They're doing that so they can call CPS, they can kidnap your kids, and they can sell them to a Diddy freakout party. They don't care about your kids. They're not like, oh, your dad is so mean because he's a Christian and he believes the Bible and he doesn't want his son to be a girl. And the kid's like 4 years old. Kids, when kids are kids like 4 or 5, there's all kinds of cross-dressing going on. Like, they don't know anything about sex at that point. They just see something shiny and they're like, oh, I want to go play with that. Kids, Like 4-year-old boys will play with dolls. They don't know. It's not like a sex thing. It doesn't mean they're gay. They're just a toy. They don't care. And even then, they still might just put the doll in the dirt and, you know, shoot the doll with the G.I. Joe. Don't get diddled by Diddy. Well, that's the plan, really. It's all they're all talking about this Epstein stuff and everything. It's like it's just child sex trafficking. They question your kids in kindergarten. They ask your little 4-year-old if they're gay. The 4-year-old doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, so they might say yes, they might say no. They're just trying to guess the right answer to make the teacher happy. You know, and then they might just keep badgering them with the same question until they get the answer they want. And then they'll just say, well, look, are your parents okay? Do your parents know you're gay? And they'll say, well, no, I didn't even know I was gay until you just told me I was gay. You know, then they'll say, well, how do your parents feel about it? Well, I don't know. My dad's, you know, because dads are dads, right? Probably the kids, you know, yeah, my dad spanks me when I act bad. And then the teachers are like, well, because you're not allowed to spank your kids in America, by the way. That's another thing. You can't even spank your kids for actually doing, you know, just normal bad stuff, much less weird gay stuff. The humor is comedy. Well, it's funny because, well, it's not. It's actually sadly true. We got to laugh to keep from crying at this stuff. But that's my point. That's my point for getting out of America and living here. They will not release anything that they can use for, yeah, that's what it is. That's what I always say too. These famous people, it's the same in the Christian, because I've done videos on like exposing these famous Christian pastors who later come out with these scandals. They have to do this stuff in order to get, you know, promoted up into the upper echelon. If they're in that position, that high position, they've done something like to be blackmailed, or the devil would not have allowed them to get up into that position. You know, so like these mega church pastors, they've done something. And even if they haven't done it themselves, they've witnessed it. So a lot of the reason for these Diddy parties is not just because most people, the devil knows that most people are not like psycho bad, right? Most people are just not pedos, right? The majority. So, but the devil still needs an army. He's still trying to build an army. So what the devil will do is he'll have these freak out parties, right? And then he'll get the one guy who really is a evil satanic pedo, right? He'll get that guy, and then he'll make the other people watch. And so that's another form of blackmail, because the devil knows like most people are not that evil, you know, because you got to be like a certain, you know, this is why the Freemasons have these levels of Freemasonry. It's levels of evil. It's like what you're willing to do. What? I remember you do video on the TV channel Gossip. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. You're gonna have to rephrase that comment. Clarify that. What's the update? So yeah, this is why the Freemasons have all their, you know, 33rd degree, all their degrees of Freemasonry. It's just degrees of evil, because most people just aren't willing to go to like that kind of, like they'll expose you to it. They'll say, well, if you want to get to the next level, you're going to have to diddle some kids. And most people will be like, you know what? That's where I draw the line. Like, I'm cool. I'm good here. I'll stay here on the 5th degree. I don't need to go to the 33rd degree. But, you know, they still want to be in the club. They still want to be in the bad and the evil club, so they can have all the connections and, you know, make lots of money. So that's why they have to have the freak out parties, because the devil has to make everyone watch. Those who aren't willing to go and do the actual act itself still have to watch the act. All right. Any more questions? Daystar TV. Daystar TV. Oh, okay. Yeah. What's the update on that? I don't care anymore. Daystar. Nothing's changed on day. Not really. Really, the worst news than Daystar. With the Daystar thing, I was really just exposing like Pastor Jimmy Evans and the way he was basically changing everything he believed for basically for money. And but Daystar's still going strong. They're not going nowhere. I think the news right now, everyone's waiting for the Robert Morris case. So Robert Morris is one of the mega pastors that just got exposed for being a pedo, and he will be going to court in a few months. I think the court date is in November. So we're going to see, everyone's anticipating that case to see if he's actually going to do jail time or get off. They're going to get him off on a technicality. I think they might probably going to end up getting him off on a technicality. Either that or he's going to delete himself, because I don't think he can face jail time at his age. He's like over 60. The Daystar thing really sparked, like that was God really sparking everything else that came after Days. All these pastors in Texas, I think it's been like 24 pastors and counting, by the way. It's still going. 24 pastors have been exposed. All of them, most of them in Texas, by the way. And then we got the floods coming to Texas too right now. So God is really judging Texas. I actually prophesied that about a few months ago when Texas put into law the child support at conception law. So I distinctly said that God would judge Texas for the child support at conception law, because that basically it takes away, oops, hit the mic. It takes away the free will of the man. So when we talk about child support and the family court system, a lot of it is men basically signing their rights away, but they still kind of had, even if they didn't know what they were doing, they still kind of had free will. They still got a marriage license and things like that. They didn't have to do that. They chose to do that. So God will say, look, you kind of put yourself into this position. So you're kind of going to get what you deserve. Like you're going to do the time. But when the devil tries to attack God's people and take away their free will, see, the devil can't do anything without your permission or God's permission. And the devil doesn't have God's permission. So he has to get your permission. And the government uses their little paperwork to get your permission. Once you sign that marriage license, the devil has full jurisdiction to come into your house and your home and cause havoc on your family. That's why the divorce rate is through the roof, because the God is not in your marriage. Yeah. Well, the reason we have so many laws is because people are trying to get to God without following those 10 rules. They don't like those 10 rules. They don't want to follow those 10 rules. That's why they make up their own rules. Because the God's rules, they don't like those rules. Also, they can't twist and manipulate God's rules. So they got to make up their own rules. Because what happens when they make up their own rules and then they get caught up in their own rules, then they just change it. And they'll be like, oh, we can just change it. So yeah, the devil needs your permission, and the government paperwork is the devil getting your permission. The problem with the child support at conception law is that it takes away the man's ability, the man's free will. So the man no longer, like you can't even, the reason they did this was because men are going to start getting DNA tests, like men are wising up to the system. And so they want to get you on the paperwork before you have a chance to get a DNA test, because they know women are whores. The Western government knows that they've turned Western women into whores. And 40%, I think that's basically the DNA office said that 40% of the men who have a DNA test are not the fathers. 40%. That's a lot. So the government knows that they're going to have a problem when all these men start getting DNA tests, and then they can't find the actual fathers because she doesn't know who it is either, because, she got a train ran on her at a Diddy party, at a freak out party, could be anybody. And the government just doesn't want to be liable for all these bastard children. So they had to pass child support at conception So that way she can basically point the finger at any random guy. As soon as she knows she's pregnant, as soon as that she sees that little line on the pregnancy strip, she can point the finger at any random guy. The government will put child support on him from conception. And then I think scientifically you have to wait like 17 weeks before you can even get a DNA test. But once they have you on paperwork for child support, it won't matter what the DNA test says, because the government only cares about whose name is on the paperwork. So once she puts your name on the paperwork, you're going to be paying that child support for the next 18, 21 years, regardless of whether or not the DNA test comes out that you're not the father 17 weeks later. And we know that because, well, the videos are all over YouTube and the internet of men going to court with the DNA test and the judge saying, doesn't matter because your name's already on the paperwork. So you're going to pay out, buddy. So that's what this child support at conception law is really. Texas basically protecting themselves from DNA test and making sure that the state will not be liable for illegitimate bastard children, and forcing whatever sucker, she points the finger at to be responsible for that bastard child. And that is why God is not tolerating that. Yes, that's true. The family court system makes more money than the entire NFL. So yeah, God is not going to tolerate when the government attacks his people, especially his men, and takes away their free will. Like, God has kind of tolerated it up until this point because you still kind of had free will to sign the papers or not sign the papers. But now they've basically taken that away from you. So God is saying, okay, that's enough. You've basically taken the free will away from my people. So now I'm going to avenge my people. And that's really what these floods are about. I know it sounds crazy, whatever. You can call me crazy if you want. I don't care. I prophesy, as soon as I saw that law, as soon as I found out about it, I did a live stream about it. And I said, God is going to be pissed about this. I said this. And I even said it was going to be a natural disaster. I'm not even saying I'm a prophet. I really don't even want to call myself a prophet, but I'm just saying I said this months ago. When the news broke that Texas passed that law, I said, God is going to judge Texas for this, and it will be a natural disaster. I'm not calling myself a prophet. I'm just saying I kind of hit the bullseye on this one. And it's still going. It's still flooding. Rachel just sent me some videos the other day. It was still flooding. There was like a second round of floods. And the reason you know it's God too is because that's not an area of Texas that floods. And even if it does, it's not to that extent. Usually when Texas gets flooded, it's like a hurricane will come from the Gulf. And the edge right there will have some flooding maybe up until Houston, because I lived in Houston, will get flooded. And then by the time the hurricane goes past Houston, it'll pretty much die out by then. So the fact that Houston is Texas is getting flooded right smack dab in the middle of Texas, that's crazy. That is an act of God, because that's not even normal. I'm not a meteorologist, but I don't even think that's normal weather pattern for a flood to happen, especially not to that extent. Because they said that part of Texas has gotten flooded before, but even though people that live there said it's never been that bad. Like, that is like some record-breaking weather event going on there. So that's how you know it's God. It's in a weird place. It's like in the middle of Texas. It's not in a place that normally gets flooded to like that. Normally when Texas has some kind of flood, it's usually around the coastal areas. And like I said, Houston gets flooded sometimes too. But usually by the time the storm goes through Houston, it's pretty much died out by then. There's more profit. Yeah. All right, guys. MK Mobile Gaming in the Philippines. Thank you guys for being here. I will see you guys in the next one, maybe Monday. So stay tuned for Monday. We're going to jump back into our Bible study, Hebrews chapter 11. If you want to read up, if you guys want to be some overachievers and read before Monday, so you can come back and join me for the Bible study and then put in your 2 cents. I value your biblical opinions. All right, Adam, I'll see you later. Take care, bro. MK Mobile Gaming in the Philippines, signing out.